what is it like to put on a character?
So, I was trained on years of theater in high school. Instead of just me being me, there's a few things that I actually do. I would accentuate certain ways I would move, or maybe the way I would stand. For instance, for like some characters, like, my red character, Veronica, Roxanne. This is a good example because there's two of them, right?
Hey, what's up? I'm Frostyfrog, and you are listening to VTuber Spotlight. More people than ever are watching or becoming VTubers, so on this show, I will be interviewing promising VTubers to get to know them a little better and to find out more about their story and what it's like to be a VTuber. I hope you enjoy the series enough to subscribe, and with all that being said, let's get on with the interview. Alright, here we are with another episode of the VTuber Spotlight. With me right here, I have my guest.
Woo!
Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Fizzi, also known as Furtrap. I voice a bunch of different characters, and I've been pretty much in the runnings for from streaming VR chat for 6 years to this date of recording.
Something like that, yeah.
As of 2024.
Yeah, it started in 2018.
Yeah, we met each other way since we were like in that public world. The oh jeez, it was the open mic night, wasn't it?
It was the open mic night.
Yep. We go way back.
So, you mentioned VR chat, but what in general do you stream? Where do you stream? What kind of activities do you like to do? What sets you apart from everyone?
I do a little bit of everything. I guess the thing that doesn't set me so apart is that I do a little bit of everything, but the thing that does set me apart is that I do a little bit of everything. And I'll explain why. For all the stuff that I do for, like, streaming, I always have a character for that activity. So it's kind of like a bunch of VTubers living up inside of one head. and it's like a whole puppeteer thing of, like, all of us just existing together in this, like, Looney Tunes world or something, I don't know.
So what do you mean by, like, all of these different VTuber personalities?
Well, if you'd like to compare it to maybe another puppeteer, like, I don't know, Jeff Dunham or something, but it's kind of like this thing where, like, these, different characters are like a color exuding emotion from within me, and each of these are a different expression from within my personality as a collective to be its own kind of thing that shines in its own, radiant beacon of light on its out here, something that other people could relate to or connect to on a very spiritually and an emotional level. To I don't know, I just have a lot of goofy, relatable characters. They're all little parts of me.
So, by talking about, you mentioned Jeff Dunham, so I presume that each one of them has their own voice?
Oh yeah, every single one of them has their own voice. It was one of the inspirations that got me to wanting to split off to do more than just, the voice, when I was originally just voicing as Fizzi here. Inevitably, that just became what I'm known as by name, so I'm cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
In character, out of character. Yeah.
Because that's what everyone saw you as first. At least from my perspective.
Yeah.
So, what is...
And honestly, I still see it as a very loving name. Like,
Yee! It's
I
a great
accept
name.
it.
And I love the theme, because you have, like... My name's Frosty, you have Frosty the dog, and our names are not spelled the same, but you're Frosty the dog and Fizzi are both spelled the same way.
With an
Fizzi
I.
with an I and Frosty with an I.
But huge coincidence though, because right around the time when I was beginning to stream, about the same year was when I got my dog, and I also met this wonderful individual in VR chat, just completely at random, and we just became best friends ever since. I was like, oh hey, you're named Frosty? So's my dog. And then one day, we actually all got the two to meet each other back when we were over at Comic-Con in Arizona, right? Or Fan Fest, Phoenix Fan Fusion, whatever they named it to that year.
Yep, Fan Fusion.
Yeah, that was cute. It was cute. I think I still have a picture of like you holding her, like from way forever ago.
Ah. To be honest, I was kind of disappointed in the name. I was expecting some sort of fusion up drink or something.
Okay.
But
it was still a lot of fun. We got to do a lot of stuff then.
Back on topic a little bit. Since you've been a VTuber for 6 years, that is a lot of time in the span of the internet. What are some of your favorite moments?
I think I find a favorite moment every single day. But if you're trying to think of like an all-time favorite moment, that's a hard one. Unless it's just like looking back on some accomplishments, because I know in all my time when I was doing like my VTubing thing, I always found other things to do on the side. Just to kind of like, to make this world a little bit more interesting and kind of help other people with the influence that I have. So, I came up with the idea of VRCon. I brought the Whisketeers together, and I even done a bunch of charity drives and stuff, including like my first one was the Don't Decide Suicide drive from was it like back in 2020, I think. It was pretty early on in my career, but I usually just like to find ways to like help people using the steadily growing influence I so graciously get blessed with every day when people want to just swing by and say hello. I don't know.
Well, so you kind of answered you kind of answered my next question already, which was what are some of your major accomplishments with your community? But so you mentioned that you kind of have a favorite moment every single day, or you're making favorite moments every single day. Do you have any examples of those daily favorite moments?
One of my favorite ones was I guess off the top of my head, because recently my buddies and I, so we had Lucas, B-Tap, and I think there was also probably, no, it was the three of us and Sylvie, and we were playing Fortnite this one session. It was a little bit off cam, and some of my favorite moments for the day doesn't always have to be on stream, by the way. But we were playing, and we were pretty much like trying to escape another team and pick up everyone's cards so we can revive each other at another reboot bus. And I was sitting here with a popped back tire on the bike that I was driving away on, and it was skidding so much that you saw me sliding sideways the entire time I escaped, but I was like, well, it's better than running.
And now you know what it's like to drive on icy roads.
Like, oh, it felt like it, yeah. Like Vaseline on an icy road. It was awful to control, but it was hilarious to watch. I think also maybe like for an on-stream moment, some of my favorite times were like maybe the little banters I'd have, because I remember back in recently February we were having kind of like this little funny just lighthearted podcast where we call it Purely Out of Pocket, the podcast. You could tell what the acronym may be spelling, but we just have like random stuff, one topic, and then we just say what's on our minds, completely unscripted. And this one in particular was it was the topic of what was your childhood crush, and we put our favorite like TV show crushes, like cartoons. Or like maybe like movie stars, and we just put them all out on a chat, and we're like, yeah, no, yay, nay.
Almost like a tier list.
It was really silly. It wasn't quite a tier list. We weren't ranking anybody, but we had like just a little goofy like, yeah, I don't know. What's a funny one that like when we were like younger, for instance, like, oh, here's Gwen from Ben 10, and then subsequently there's also like the older Gwen from the later Ben 10 seasons where she's like older, she's got like the glasses and boils on her face, and I'm like, okay, maybe not that one, and we're just making a whole like whole lot of duplies. I don't know, our friends just kind of goof off a lot, and we make some of our like most charmingly embarrassing moments available on the internet for you to enjoy, because we know it makes you all happy.
Mm-hmm. And moments like those really are a lot of fun. One of the things that you mentioned earlier was that you had all these different VTubers characters and whatnot. What is it like to put on a character? Like how it's separate from yourself as who you are IRL?
Okay, so like mentally psych myself into playing that character? Or like...
I guess kind of that, kind of like what does it feel like as you're playing the character instead of like being yourself? Like being your own personality.
So I guess from the most obvious start, cause I was trained on like years of theater in high school. There's a few things that I actually do to sort of like, instead of just me being me, as I am normally, I would accentuate certain ways I would move, or maybe the way I would stand. For instance, for like some characters, like my red character, Veronica, Roxanne. This is a good example because there's two of them, right? So depending on which version of that character I switch to, they would have a very different aura about them. They would, for instance, like Veronica is like she takes very little space. She like tucks her elbows in. She's just very like timid.
Kind of like the shy girl.
Knees buckling in. Yeah, she's shy. And then when her sister comes out, the ghost possessing her body, which is from her sister, comes out and she's all like confident. Her legs are like at this wider stance, and she's more like open and intimidating. For instance, aside from obviously shifting around the muscles in my throat to project those voices better, and accents, dialects, it's a whole thing. But as long as I've like been practicing it with it just ended up becoming like muscle memory. And when I hear like, oh, it's your turn is up, oh, you can go play this one, then I'm like, okay, it's Veronica time, or it's Roxanne time, or like oh goodness, I think most recently the most interesting one is my character Fizzcat, who sits down, never stands up. And interestingly enough, because now I have my legs as extra arms, kind of, I think of it like that, I use those to wiggle around and be extra expressions. Or I can like reach my leg up and boop somebody because it's closer than the arm that's back here now in a sitting position. So it's a bunch of like stuff I can just sort of play around with depending on how my setup is for that character.
So it's
like
kind
obviously
of flexible,
Fisk is more like a seated. Yeah, like I'll have like a thing for each of them where like where it would play to the strengths of what that character is supposed to portray, for instance. So like on my mat I'll lay out like a little cushion or something so I can sit as Fizzcat versus when I'm like playing Fizzi standing up instead or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Used to be back when I was more comfortable playing Fizzi using like the Vive wands, for instance. and then just keeping my index controllers as like the articulated fingers for when I was playing Veronica when she was newer. So it was kind of like a whole thing where I had a set of hardware for each of them, but I more or less now just play all of them on the same stuff. It's just I mentally put myself into a different mindset entirely just to completely dive and immerse myself in that character. And sometimes I'll even just eat my, like what I would perceive them as their favorite food to eat. And then it would also like kind of help me into that too.
Cool,
interesting
cool.
stuff. Yeah.
So, moving on a little bit, there are a lot of aspiring VTubers out there. Do you have any tips or word of advice that you would like to share with any of them?
Work together with people. Number one rule. You definitely want to have like a community, a neighborhood, a family, something that you can really remind yourself that you're home and remind you why you're doing this in the first place, so that you don't give up. And these people will help you stay determined and go as far as and in a lot of cases they'll help you go as far as you want with, as far as the lengths you want to go for your career. Some people may come, some people may go, but that the certain is that you have a community, and that's what you want to build when you're a VTuber. You want to stand for something.
I can agree with that there.
Something that your whole community can get behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's part of my community too. Yay!
And speaking of community, where can people find you?
Oh, well, the link was originally Discord GG Furtrap, but I since it was called Zingdom for a very long time, it's Discord GG/Zing. That's where my community hangs out. Well, sometimes like go watch stuff together, or sometimes we'll just visit, talk to each other with like fans, posting memes,
Mm-hmm.
or like maybe your best clips, or make a meme off of your favorite moments on stream, stream updates, and all that other kind of cool stuff. There's a lot to explore there. Lore about the characters, if you really want to like suck yourself into that universe in my head about that, totally fine. That's probably the best hub for just kind of getting to know me on the surface there. Yep.
And I know that, like, for some people, joining a Discord server may be a bit of a commitment, per se. Because you do have a limited number of servers that you can join. So is there any place where people can find content that you create to figure out, like, if they want to join your community?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got a whole catalog of videos on YouTube. You search up Furtrap or YouTube users /@Furtrap or something. It's one of the many methods you can search your name. But you'll find me. I have like little. It looks like me with this frilly dress thing. You'll find like a bajillion videos from 2020 on forward. So if you want to enjoy some of the stuff that I do, or get some examples of how I did it every so often, that's a good start. That's always a good start.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're considering, you could always just watch me on stream too. I'm not afraid of saying hi or something, What's up?
And as we sign up for the day, is there anything you'd like to say to our fans?
Wear sunscreen.
Wear sunscreen. Got it. Alrighty. And that's about all I have set up there. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of VTuber Spotlight, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's Spotlight, don't forget to drop a like, and if you want to be here for the next one, don't forget to subscribe. I meant subscribe. Anyways, thank you and have a good day.